I have used an embarrassing amount of tools over the last 10 years while building this business. Literally like 50 plus tools across 20 something different categories. Some of them I would pay for twice because they are so good. And some of them I canceled almost as fast as I subscribed. So today I'm going to actually share with you the ones that I could remember, which is still a long list, what I love, what I left, and what I'm still testing, and how to use this list without spiraling, because this is not a top 10 tools to use in 2026 list. This is actually just a behind the scenes view of what I've tried and what I've liked and what I've passed on so that you can make a more efficient decision on which tools you'd like to try this year or which tools you'd like to hang on to because you were kind of wondering what the competition was like. And yes, I do have a rating system. Think HGTV's Love It or List It, but for software. That was what inspired this topic idea. Before you watch this and go straight to the end so you can get the list of the 26 different categories that I'm going over today, because it took me 10 years to build this tech stack. This is not a must-have list of tools. This is a menu of options by category, so you can pick one friction point and fix that first. Basically, if you have a problem right now, what's the most painful problem that you're having? And then what tool of this list might help you fix that? Your business budget and your brain are different than mine, so your tool's tech stack is going to be different too, and that's okay. And just as a reminder, I want to start by saying the full post on my website, I'll put the link in the description below, that has the entire list by category plus the interactive table, which you can use to select which options you want, put in the current rate, and it will summarize all of that for you, including tallying the price, so you can copy it to your clipboard and save it somewhere. There's no email required to use it. It doesn't save your stuff. I will never see what you put in there. It's totally private to you. So now let's look at the rating system. Let's pull up the blog posts first. The rating system I'm using started with Love It or Leave It, obviously, because of HGTV's show. But the system that I'm using, either passed because it's not worth it for me, testing because I'm currently evaluating it, use or used it, solid, but not my favorite, left it, I tried it and moved on, or I love it, I'm using it now, or I loved it when I did. So, reminding you again, if you take nothing else from this video, steal the framework, pick the categories, audit the tools, keep only what you actually want to use and what you will actually use on a day-to-day basis. Hi, this is future Caitlin popping in while I'm editing this video to let you know that the way that this list is intended to be interpreted is that based on the rating system, if you see a tool that I've both marked as love it or left it, that actually means that there are features I love, but like for the features I've left, I've used something else for that particular thing. So for example, in Dubsado, we all know that I love Dubsado. I love it, but for a client portal, I don't. I've left it for something else. So I'm still using Dubsado for the thing that I love, but I'm not using Dubsado for the things that I don't, as an example. So just wanted to make sure that's super, super clear before we dive in and get nitty gritty in this list. Also, even though this video is lengthy and I am covering a lot in this video, I am not touching all of the ones that are actually in the blog post. There are still a lot of categories I didn't have time to tackle. So please make sure you go to the link below and look at the full list. Check out the checklist and make sure that you are aware of all the different categories, including inbox management, so many things, 26 different categories. I could not fit it all into this video. Anyway, that's all. Now we'll go back to the rest of the video. Big bucket number one is client-facing business tools. If you're a service-based designer, these categories matter first because they affect the client experience and the revenue that you make. So the first ones are the CRM, of course, and client portals, because I can't have this video without talking about client portals, right? CRMs and client portals are the backbone of your business. Even though you don't have to have a CRM, it definitely helps because once you've grown to the point where you need help, the software is going to be cheaper than hiring your first contractor or your first employee. So here are some of the tool highlights that I cover in this category in the post. Obviously, number one, Dubsado. Love it. Because you weren't expecting anything different, right? It's customizable, robust, runs like a machine once you set it up. Of course, everybody mentions that it's feels complex because it is complex. There are still a lot of things Dubsado does internally that other competitors just can't compete with yet still, even after 10 years. So if you've got some time and you know it's worth it because it can do a lot of things for you and really act like an employee of sorts, then Dubsado is your best bet because it can handle a lot. That said, there is a little bit of nuance there. As you continue to grow, if your leads expand beyond just getting clients for one-on-one service work, eventually you might not be able to use their inquiry system anymore because it doesn't make sense to have software companies in Dubsado. They're never going to have a client relationship with you. So there is a little bit of nuance to that. The second CRM that I've tested is Assembly. I'm still testing that now. It is impressive in specific areas and does things in some areas that are better than Dubsado, but it also lacks features that Dubsado has. So I'd argue they're almost on equal footing, especially for the portal and the multi-contact per company issue. So Dubsado is a client first approach, whereas Assembly can either have clients or companies. And clients can be tied to companies. So you could have one company as the client with multiple contacts listed per company, which is nice for people who work with multiple contacts. In Assembly, there's a lot less customization available. Contracts are upload only. Invoicing is more limited for payment plans and stuff like that. And it can get pretty expensive pretty quickly. It starts at roughly $39 a month and goes up to the next tier of over $100 a month. So it's nearly a $100 gap in between the lowest and the middle tier, which is wildly different than Dubsado. So it's probably not the best fit for smaller agencies or solopreneurs if you have more than 50 clients that you want to use Assembly with. The next option is Bonsai, and I actually started there with my CRM in 2016, I think it was. And I still stand by them. They are an excellent option. They have expanded a lot since then. The only reason I left them to start with was because Dubsado then had more features than it did at that time. Now they're on more equal footing, like I say. So it's a simpler option. It's solid. It's a great starting point. It will probably scale well with you, and it's a similar price point too. The next one that I've tested recently is Tazera, which is a totally new CRM, and currently it's still on a wait list, so put that in your back pocket. It's actually designed by a fellow web designer, so she was basically tired of the current options, let's say, Honeybook, Dubsado, Bonsai, whatever. She wasn't happy with any of them, so she set out to make one that she was happy with. And I think she's doing a really good job. It's still very new, so like I said, still on a wait list. You're not going to be able to sign up for it tomorrow as of posting. You can get the wait list though. So keep your eye on it because it's going to be getting better and better as they continue to make improvements with the user feedback in the beta. So the simple takeaway here is if you want deep customization and robust workflows, then I would start with Dubsado. If you want simpler with a strong portal built in and don't mind price, Assembly might win, or Bonsai or Tazera might be a good fit since they all include a pretty decent portal to start with. Moving on to client portals. Client experience matters just as much as the deliverables, and while you might not need a dedicated portal at first, if you want polished, this is where you shine. This is the thing that allows you to communicate and manage the actual project tasks and the client's feedback, their content submission, their communication, and all of that stuff after the CRM has already booked them. They are separate processes. Just in case you missed those videos, I'll try to remember to link those here somewhere for you, but I do have several videos on that topic. Kitchen is a lifetime payment. It's white label. It's the best dedicated portal because it's a one and done system. You pay for it once, set it up, and use it into perpetuity, never having to pay for it again, which is amazing. Assembly, which I'm still testing, has a portal, and that is its major strength. However, it can be expensive and it is a recurring subscription plan. The storefront features that it offers for the portal specifically are also really interesting. You can basically put sort of like a proposal/order form kind of thing into the portal, and it's directly linked to invoices where they can do sort of a self-checkout for follow-up services. So for example, if you put a client through a custom web design project in Assembly, you would also be able to show them the storefront after that project is over so that they could auto book one-to-one sessions with you, a VIP day afterwards or something like that. So that is a really cool feature. Granted, you can do something similar in Kitchen if you embed something they can pay and book with. So depends on what you want to use, I guess. For Bonsai, it's a good built-in portal. If you already use it, it is genuinely good. But if you don't already use Bonsai, then you might want to stick with the CRM you already have. And then in which case Kitchen would be a better fit because it's a good addition, not a replacement. For the Dubsado portal, we've talked about this in the past in other videos, but let's just say it's barely functional. It's not great. The best thing I can say is that it exists and it feels like a forgotten add-on since Dubsado hasn't really changed it in about 10 years. Now that the client engine is covered, let's talk about the marketing engine too. So the second big bucket is content and marketing. First, we're going to talk about email service providers or ESPs. This is the category I'd prioritize if you want stability that is not algorithm dependent. In other words, you control your email list, you control when you send emails, you control, for the most part, the people who see them, as opposed to Facebook, Twitter, X, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of those are algorithm dependent, and you do not control who opens or looks at what. So those softwares are going to be things like Kit, which I love, Power, automations, segmentation, all of the things that you need under one roof. Flodesk is another option. They were a lot simpler back when I used them between 2019-ish and 2021 when I left them for Kit, but they've come a long way since then, and now they're pretty close in comparison. There's still a few things Kit does better, but for the most part, they're neck and neck with each other, depending on which is more important to you, design or functionality and efficiency. Then there's MailerLite. Okay. So I outgrew this one. I left it. I actually used it for 2 or 3 years and I paid for it for another year. And then I got fed up with the new, I forget what they called it, but there's like MailerLite Classic and then there's the new version. The new version felt clunky and hard to use, and it's only gotten worse since then. So I outgrew it. I don't recommend it. It is cheaper, but you often pay for what you get. So it's cheap for a reason. Then there's also Squarespace email campaigns. I passed on this one. It's not for serious email marketers, but it is easy and it is built into your website's platform, your existing platform. So if you also pay for Squarespace for your website, it's not bad to start with that. You're just going to pay for more than what you're actually getting out of the software, because Squarespace email campaigns is very simple. So it's just not a great cost-effective solution, but it is simple. So if you need to start somewhere, that's an easy place to start. Then you can export your list and move somewhere else when you're ready. So based on all of that, I'd say pick based on what you need right now. Power versus pretty. You can switch it later. Migration is annoying, but it's survivable. Next, we have lead magnets, pop-ups, and quiz funnels and stuff like that. So these aren't competing tools. They're actually layering that you can add to your business marketing effort. So the first one is ConvertBox. I love it because it's pop-up rules, evergreen, or promo. So basically you can embed inline pop-ups, modals, countdown timers, videos, chatbot looking things, 1 or 2 question quizzes. You can link it to Kit. It has all kinds of stuff in there. It's evergreen stuff, launch stuff, and it's a one-time payment. It's from the ThriveCart family, actually. Then there's Interact, which I'm testing now. It's a quiz builder. There's a review coming. I think we've probably all heard of it, but if you haven't, basically you can build a quiz. You can allow your audience to go through it. And then at the end of that, you can give them the results. So basically it's allowing them to customize the feedback that they're getting from you. Either way, these tools together allow you to deliver and nurture your audience in different ways. The next is social media scheduling, and I'm not going to spend much time here because if you've been around here for a while, you know that I am not a fan. I do this when I must, but not on a regular basis. Social media is not my main channel, and that's allowed because I allowed myself to do this. What I typically use now for social media scheduling, though, is Virally. I love it. It's batch scheduling when I need it, and it allows me to batch schedule to platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, whatever. And it is really easy to learn. It's really simple. I basically felt like I knew my way around within a day or two. Very, very simple and effective. It works very well, very reliably. For YouTube and Squarespace blog posts, obviously I use those platforms themselves to post and schedule things. So the YouTube Studio is what I use to upload my videos and post them to my YouTube channel. I also use Squarespace to schedule the blog posts. I don't use outside tools for that. That's native. They're both free. I'm already in them. Enough said. Now I'm going to hit the creator ops tools, the stuff that makes producing the content that you're marketing a little bit easier. So the next big bucket number 3, is content creation and the day-to-day operations. So for the first category, we have video editing and recording. So Tella is my current love. I love it. Obviously, I'm using it to record this video. It is great at recording, screen share, videos, tutorial type stuff, automatic zooms. It's got a lot more editing features than Loom, but less than Descript. So it's a good middle ground. If you want to move from Loom, they also have a migration tool that will help you do that more quickly and effectively without literally downloading your 1,500 videos from Loom and uploading them to Tella individually, which is awesome. The owners are really eager to help make things better and improve the software. So they listen and are very receptive to feedback, which is really nice too. I also have and love Descript. I still use that for transcription-based editing, so editing the text and trimming that out of the actual video too at the same time. It's fast for DIY edits. It's faster than Final Cut Pro, which I also have. There is a learning curve. It's more robust than Tella or Loom could ever be. But it also gives you kind of the middle ground. You're not in Final Cut Pro, but you still have more editing control than you would on Tella or Loom. Then there's also Ecamm Live, which I'll be using a lot this year, I hope, for live streaming on YouTube. I need to get a system down for telling people that I'll be live before I start using it. But it is a really cool Mac-only software. I'm sorry, PC people. The equivalent is something like StreamYard. So Ecamm Live is an actual desktop-based app, and it lets you stream your lives to other places. You can also just record, but it has wild amounts of control for layouts and scenes and inviting guests even, like Riverside or Squadcast or whatever. The next one is Loom, and I do love it, but I have currently left it for Tella, with one exception I'm still trying to figure out. So it's not a bad tool. It's just not my current one because I needed the robust editing capability of Tella more than I needed to keep Loom. And there's enough crossover there that I didn't want both. Then there's Screen Studio. Also love it. It's kind of a one-time payment in that you pay for and you get up to a year's worth of software updates or something like that. It's a really affordable tool and it's great for recording tutorials because it automatically zooms kind of like Tella does, and you can control the cursor size and stuff like that. But the disadvantage I finally found was that I needed to have things like multiple areas blurred at the same time to hide sensitive details in a tutorial, and I can't do that with Screen Studio yet. So for now, I'm using Tella for that because it's easy. It does almost the same things as Screen Studio. And if I cut out Loom, then it's about the same amount of money as having both Loom and Screen Studio. So here we are. For screenshots and asynchronous communication, I love using CleanShot X. It's a daily driver. I use it almost every day. It's underrated and super cheap. I can't remember if somewhere in the neighborhood of like $30 or $40 or $60, but it basically replaces the built-in screenshot tool. It is probably a Mac only tool actually, now that I think about it, but it feels so native to the Mac OS that I forget that it's not actually built into my Mac. Like it's a third-party software. Works really well. I've never had it fail. It's amazing. You will love it. It records GIFs and screen recordings. It also lets you annotate on whatever screenshots that you take. It's amazing. I can't gush about it enough. The next bucket is AI and LLMs. I use AI as a thought partner. I like that term. I'll give Christy Price the credit for that, but not as a ghostwriter. So I don't want it to completely write things for me. I just want it to help me flesh out my thoughts, basically. So for my preferred tool, it's Claude. That's my favorite. It's my daily driver for thinking and structuring and even coming up with the outline of this post based on the probably 10,000 word blog post that goes with it. It is really helping me get more done more efficiently. For Perplexity, I love using that for research specifically. I don't pay for that one. I just use the free plan, but I really like the way that it delivers the search results that it brings you so that you can actually investigate it easily yourself. It presents it with bullet points and tables and stuff like that. So it's just a really well-rounded, easy to skim answer, basically. For imagery, sometimes video, but I don't really use it for that. I love using Midjourney for situational stuff. So like for client work, if I need super specific stock photos, I'll go to Midjourney and generate them there if I can't spend the time to scour the interwebs for them. So I only tend to pay for Midjourney during the month that I'm actively using it, for as opposed to Claude, which I pay for annually. So I know I'm going to use it. I'm also testing right now the ClickUp Brain. So it gives me access to like Gemini and Claude and ChatGPT all within ClickUp. It's a hefty add-on fee in addition to the monthly plan for ClickUp in general. So right now I'm just testing that. I don't know if I'll continue to use it, but there's a caveat to that because I'm leaving ChatGPT this year. I canceled it in March 2026 and it's been about a month. So far so good. I also have access to ChatGPT in 2 other places. So I don't actually need to pay for ChatGPT in order to use ChatGPT. So before you freak out, I can use ChatGPT in ClickUp's Brain. I can also use ChatGPT in Poppy AI, which I have a lifetime payment for. Poppy is actually a whiteboard style LLM setup. It sort of has like nodes on the screen where you can connect your Poppy chat to like images and videos and text and all kinds of things. And you can connect and disconnect the nodes whiteboard style or mind map style so that you can control what the chat can see and what it can't. So when it's not connected to anything, it's just the chat window, but it can also be connected to like website pages and videos on YouTube and stuff like that. So it's really handy. And I have ChatGPT in there too. So even if I stop using the ClickUp Brain thing, I still have access to ChatGPT in Poppy. But I just don't feel like I need to pay for ChatGPT by itself in addition to all these other ones. The last AI tool that I'm testing this year is Galaxy AI, which I haven't used enough to really say anything about, but there's like thousands of tools available in there. So, I mean, that could take a while for me to test all of those. But basically, anything public facing still gets my brain and my editing. For project management, ClickUp, love it. Asana, love it. Notion, use it for resources. It's not for task management. Trello, I used it but left it. SmartSuite, I tried it but left it. I'd like it, but it's just not for me. TickTick, I also love it but left it. TickTick's task management lacks a lot to be desired. It's very, 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 very simple. Which if that's what you're going for, that's fine, but I needed more than that. For scheduling and calendar management, I love Breely. It's my current favorite. TidyCal is another great one. It's $29 for a one-time lifetime access, so you never pay for it again. Artful Agenda, love it. I've been using it for almost 10 years now. It is a digital paper style planner, which is really fun to use. And I can see my Google Calendar in it, my Apple Calendar, and all the other things. I also have used in the past Calendly, Cal, Acuity. I left all 3 of those. They're all good. They're all very robust. I just needed the proverbial more and got a little bit of shiny object syndrome. Also, all of them can be on the expensive side, with Acuity being the most expensive of those options. Calendly and Cal are probably more closely competitive in their price points, but they're all genuinely good. I just prefer Breely because it costs me less and I can do more with it. It's also by the founder of Acuity, so he knows his shit, obviously. For forms, Tally is my favorite because it is a form builder that feels like Notion, and the free plan will take you so incredibly far that you may not ever need to do the paid plan. Fill Out is another equivalent of Tally. It doesn't work like Tally, but it works really well with the integrations that are available, like Airtable, for example. So if you use Airtable forms, Fill Out's a great way to style them and make them look attractive, but have your data still automatically map into Airtable without zaps from Zapier. Squarespace Forms is another one that works really well. It doesn't integrate with many things, but it is free and it's part of your website, so it will also match your website's branding. Formflows is another one that I've tested. It's free. It's kind of mind map style, but it's not very customizable on the back end. So when you need to send emails following up with people, you can't white label the email address it comes from. You can't really customize how it looks when people receive it. So you can customize the form itself, but then once they've filled it out and submitted, everything will look kind of foreign, which was a disconnect that I felt I was not okay with. But that was also a one-time payment, so maybe it'll get better. It's new, so it probably will. For finance, I have QuickBooks Online. I love it as much as I can love any accounting software. I also use Novo for my business bank. Used that for years. Also love that. It's fee-free and it works really well with Profit First. I have tested Kick.co, which is a AI-driven accounting software. It does all of the transaction categorization for you, but you still have the option to edit and adjust what it does. And then there's also Xero. I tried it and left it almost as quickly as I signed up. For online storage, there's Dropbox, which I love, and Google Drive, which I use. I only pay for the minimum Google Drive storage, so everything I have is in Dropbox just because I prefer it. I started with Dropbox like maybe 20 years ago. It's just ingrained in my brain. I know how it works, and I've used it for a long time. So I didn't see the point in also paying for Google Drive for additional storage space. For password management, I've been using 1Password for a few years. I in the past used LastPass, but switched to 1Password because it's a Mac only software and it feels like a Mac only software, which I preferred greatly over LastPass, which felt like I was using a PC every time I opened it. So those are a few of the extras. I'm sure there's more that I haven't had time to cover yet in this video. Remember that details and the full reviews for all of these, including the links and my notes and the ratings and all of that, are in the accompanying post that goes with today's video. But again, I'll put the link below so you can peruse the list for yourself and use that checklist to save whatever you want to save. I just want you to remember, pick one category where you feel friction right now, where your pain point is, what you're struggling with. If booking is your issue, then look at the schedulers and calendars. If email marketing is something you want to start, but you don't know where to look for that or what software to try or start with, then look in that category. If it's portals or project management, then look in those categories. Choose one tool to try from that category, give it a month or so, and then cancel what you're not using if you've tried multiples. Just drop the guilt at the front door because you don't know what you like until you try it. So that's how you build your tech stack slowly, more efficiently, and preferably you're checking your recurring subscriptions in your bank account to make sure that you're not forgetting to cancel anything that you stopped using, because everything in your tech stack should earn its place there. After all, we're spending our hard-earned money on this stuff, so it should be worth it. The goal is not more tools, it's more time. So whatever the tool can give you back, time especially, that's the most important. If you want the full list by category, it's all in the post. I'll link it below. If you want me to do a deep dive review on any of the testing tools, I've already got a list of the ones that I want to do. But if you have a preference for any of those, let me know. And if you're overwhelmed, comment with your biggest friction point, and I'll tell you what category I'd start with. I'm doing a lot more of these coming soon, so if you have any preferences on what the tool is that you loved the most and what you would never give up, leave a comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe, all the things, and I think that's all for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!